Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel. 4 years ago today, the SEC sued Ripple. As a result, of course, the entire XRP community on a global scale was attacked because this resulted, and the SEC knew it would, in the collapse of the price of XRP. Now, of course, it was temporary and it didn't literally go to zero, but my God, I think, I'm pulling from memory here, but I think the price was around 60 cents or so when the news broke, and it dropped down to like 16 or 17 cents. I mean, it was just absolutely devastating. And some people had their actual entire life savings in XRP because they have that level of confidence. And whether you think that's a good or bad idea is irrelevant. The point is, you shouldn't have the government choosing winners and losers. This is a bogus lawsuit through and through from the beginning, with the SEC obviously not acting in good faith. And the judges said as much, that they engaged in hypocrisy. But here we are 4 years later. We're having a much better Christmas season, right? Aren't we? Than 4 years ago. I think it wrecked Christmas for a lot of people. And I remember covering it at the time on YouTube. It was just a complete S-word show. It was crap. But here we are. Better for it on the other side. We're in a bull run. So think about this. Like I just said, XRP cratered down to maybe as low as 16 cents or so after this news. It's now, at the time that I'm recording this, around $2.20. Suck it, SEC. You can't stop us. We are stronger on the other side of this thing. And XRP in a bull run with legal clarity, mimicking what's been happening in 2017 up to this point. I can only imagine what's going to happen for the duration of this bull run, but I'll not be surprised to see it hit a new all-time high in enterprise discovery. But let's reminisce a little bit here. I'm actually going to share with you a few posts from... who do I got here? Stuart Alderati, Ripple's chief legal officer. I got a short post from attorney Jeremy Hogan, and then I have a post from attorney John Deaton, which I actually haven't read yet. I thought we could experience this together, and I can share with you my initial thoughts as we go through it. But John Deaton was just an absolutely, as you well know, critical figure in the SEC v. Ripple lawsuit. Critical. Honestly, I don't know if we would have had the very blatant legal clarity for XRP if not for him doing what he did and representing over 75,000 XRP holders. And the reason I say that is because there were thousands of those XRP holders that he represented that submitted sworn affidavits to, and the judge read them, and as a result of that, cited them in her decision. And then she came down with this very blunt perspective, which she didn't have to do because it was dicta. Like, she wasn't literally required to even rule on this, but she said, and I'm paraphrasing, but XRP itself is not a security. She didn't have to do that. In fact, all sorts of attorneys that have been covering this along the way didn't think that she would go so far as to state that in the final ruling, but she did. We got everything that mattered to us. It's amazing how everything turned out. And so again, what a disastrous few years, but here we are, and now we're going to get ours. But here is the headline that broke the news. This is, so as I record this, of course, it's December 22nd, 2024. So this is the 4-year anniversary, because that's when the lawsuit happened. But the news of this actually happened the evening before. So here was the headline on December 21st, 2020. And this is from Yahoo Finance. They're covering a CoinDesk article, it's posted on here. It is a CoinDesk article. Anyway, the headline was, Ripple CEO warns SEC may sue company over XRP sales. And oh, yes, they did. Here's what Brad Garlinghouse posted on December 21st, 2020 at 7:27 p.m. Central Time. And this is the news that ruined everybody's Christmas. And so he wrote, today the SEC voted to attack crypto. Chairman Jay Clayton, in his final act, is picking winners and trying to limit U.S. innovation in the crypto industry to Bitcoin and Ethereum. We know crypto and blockchain technologies aren't going anywhere. Ripple has and will continue to use XRP because it is the best digital asset for payments. Speed, cost, scalability, and energy efficiency. It's traded on 200 plus exchanges globally and will continue to thrive. The SEC, out of step with other G20 countries and the rest of the US government, should not be able to cherry pick what innovation looks like, especially when their decision directly benefits China. Make no mistake, we are ready to fight and win. This battle is just beginning. And oh, did they win? Absolutely they did. And then it gets even better, obviously, because we now know what happened in the United States election, and Trump won, which is fantastic for anyone in crypto. Politics aside, I think anybody in crypto, even if you're on the left politically, which is fine, I'm not going to get into politics here, but even if you're on the left, I think you'd admit, if you're being intellectually honest, this is better for crypto. It just is. And the markets responded. Like, I don't even see how anybody could argue against that, and I don't really see that in crypto, because look what happened in the stock market and crypto after that happened. It was just this rampage rally, just straight on up for like a month. It's pretty incredible stuff here. And then we got the news that Gensler's resigning. Another win for us. We're going to have, for the first time in history, we're going to have a pro-crypto SEC chair. That's never happened before. This is amazing stuff. And XRP with the legal clarity in the bull run. This is a dream come true. It's basically the opposite of whatever the hell was 4 years ago. Whatever that was. This is the opposite. This is the antithesis of that. But of course, people like to mock what Brad Garlinghouse said there, because again, the first sentence here from Brad Garlinghouse: today the SEC voted to attack crypto, right? And people with XRP derangement syndrome disagree. Here's a post from Matt Corva on 4 years ago today, December 22nd, 2020. Matt Corva was then and is now a lawyer for Consensus, which builds on the Ethereum chain. And so maybe he's an Ethereum maxi. I don't know, but he certainly made it very clear that he despises XRP, and he didn't believe Brad Garlinghouse's announcement that, no, this is an attack on crypto. But we know now, obviously, that was correct. And so this is hilarious, because this blew up in his face, and it's so rich to me. I love this. It's just like delicious. I love this. So here is a post from Matt Corva, which reads as follows, and credit to Crypto Arsenal for sharing this back in March of this year, because he's got another one, and it's just like the side-by-side. It just makes me laugh hysterically. But here's what he wrote 4 years ago. I won't comment on the merits, but this attempted play at attack on crypto is pretty laughable. In 5 years of doing this, I haven't heard anyone interested in or working on decentralized tech or crypto say anything positive about XRP. Crypto will be just fine. Oh, the smugness of this. The smugness of this guy. Yeah, well, you're in a little echo chamber there with your XRP derangement syndrome. You're in an echo chamber. That's why you haven't heard anybody building on XRP, and that's why you don't understand why XRP for its entire existence, despite the SEC attack, has always been in the top 10 coins by market cap. And that's only true of Bitcoin, ETH, and XRP. So maybe you should look inward and figure out what the hell you don't understand, Matt Corva. But the reason this is rich is because, again, he's pushing back against the idea that this is an attack on crypto, but it very clearly was. Gary Gensler sued like as many crypto participants as he possibly could, including cryptocurrency exchanges. And they were going after, for a time earlier this year, they were going after his organization Consensus, but it wasn't an attack on crypto until it was. Oh my God, like his post, it has aged like a fine milk, and it is one of my favorites this year. It's one of my favorite developments because it's hilarious. So here he was on March 11th of this year writing the following. You should be, and this is after the SEC announced that they were going after Consensus. And of course, that fell apart. Obviously, the powers that be decided that ETH should ultimately have a spot ETF, and things fell apart, so it is what it is. But he was wrong, obviously. And then cryptocurrency exchanges getting attacked. It's very clear that he was wrong. So anyway, he says, you should be happy that this is the beginning of the end of this path. Fight them in court and win. No one should be afraid of this. Actually create frameworks that protect consumers. Bring in more serious market participants. Stop chasing people offshore. It's all great in the end, even if there is one last slugfest to get there. Wait a minute. I thought there was no attack on crypto. What do you mean? Who's getting chased offshores if there's no attack on crypto? You're not buying that narrative, right, Matt Corva? Isn't that right, Matt Corva? Over at Consensus? Who's getting chased offshore? Who's doing it? They said that wasn't happening. Isn't this hilarious? Then he's talking about fighting them in court. It's just... just delicious. And then there are this one really grinds my gears. So on the day this happened 4 years ago, you have Bitcoin maximalist Anthony Pompliano. He's clearly gleeful about this. And he smugly wrote, "Good morning to everyone except the people who thought they could sell unregistered securities and get away with it." Okay, well, that aged like a fine milk because Judge Torres found that XRP is not a security. How about that? And what a jackass thing to type. On a day where XRP holders are getting absolutely financially destroyed because of an unjust lawsuit, that's what you want to say? And you're going to side with the attackers? Thank you, Bitcoin maximalist Anthony Pompliano, for precisely nothing. But again, you were wrong. And so I'm basking in that. And here it was 4 years ago from the SEC website. SEC charges Ripple and two executives with conducting $1.3 billion unregistered securities offering. I'm so glad we're on the other side of this. And here's a headline from December 23rd. Excuse me. This is from CNBC. Cryptocurrency XRP plunges 25% after SEC files lawsuit against Ripple. Just going down memory lane here. Now, of course, it got way worse than that. XRP price straight up plunged for a week straight. No kidding. For a week straight, it was just falling to the downside, causing understandable panic throughout the entire space. Because it wasn't clear at that point in time, early on, exactly what was going to happen. It was hard to get a handle on that. Then there was this. What's the headline? Yeah, December 29th, 4 years ago. The exchanges that delisted XRP following the Ripple SEC lawsuit. I don't even need to read this. I'm just pointing out. We're going down memory lane here. It was all of them in the United States, with the exception of like Uphold. It was all of them otherwise. And of course, they all have relisted them. And you had Gemini list XRP for the first time ever. They were so anti-XRP, but after this, I mean, credit where it's due, I guess. They did list XRP. Robinhood listed recently XRP for the first time ever. So we're obviously winning. Like I hope that on a day like this, I hope that you're all like me and fully appreciating what the hell we just went through and how incredibly we're positioned as a result of it, even though we had to suffer for years and there was all that uncertainty, because things could have gone way worse than it did. I mean, Judge Torres could have had a piss poor ruling, and instead it was mostly, well, it was great for anything that matters for us as XRP holders. We got exactly what we wanted. Ripple didn't get 100% of what they wanted, but I'm still elated over this, obviously. And then there was this March of 2021. XRP Army gets relist XRP trending, demands exchanges comply. Yeah, well, I knew that wasn't going to happen until we got legal clarity, but I just highlighted this to share with you. Like our community was fighting. Our whole community put up a fight, and we all played our roles, right? And that's why John Deaton ended up representing over 75,000 XRP holders in the case. And then so here's this post from Ripple's chief legal officer Stuart Alderoty. He shared this just this morning. On this 4th anniversary of the SEC's lawless lawsuit against Ripple, Brad, and Chris, we urge the incoming administration to cleanse the lingering stain of Hinman from the agency. There's much more to do to repair the damage, but let's start by restoring trust. Yeah, spot on, and that does look to be what's going to happen. As soon as Trump gets in, and you're going to have for the first time, like I said earlier in the video, a crypto SEC chair. That's going to change everything. My God, it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Here's a post from attorney Jeremy Hogan. And he wrote "happy" because it's like, depending on how you look at it, you could say it's unhappy because it was terrible that this happened, or you could say it's happy because it's 4 years later and we're far better off for it. I'll go with happy. So he says, "Happy SEC v. Ripple lawsuit anniversary. You stuck it out and now you are here. Damn straight we're here." I love this. 4 years later, and here, I wish we could have just known that magically 4 years ago, that XRP to the day 4 years later would be $2.20. That I would love. But here we are. Like this is real life. This all happened. And now finally we're getting ours. It's delayed, but we're getting ours. And here's the post from attorney John Deaton that he posted just this morning that I have not read yet. So we get to experience this for the first time together. 4 years ago today, the SEC sued Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, and Chris Larson, claiming XRP was a security. I didn't think much about the lawsuit, except I thought it was unusual to sue the individual executives in a non-fraud case. On Christmas Eve, I read the complaint and I realized it was the most grossly overbroad SEC's complaint I'd read. Or he wrote overboard, SEC's complaint he'd read. Some people will think I'm exaggerating or being hyperbolic, but I'm not. The SEC alleged every single XRP holder in the world was in a common enterprise with Ripple, and all of them were relying on the efforts of Ripple. This included people who had never heard of Ripple or Brad Garlinghouse. The complaint was so sweepingly overbroad, it included XRP holders who used the XRP ledger to make cross-border payments to family members. It was so overbroad, it included businesses that integrated XRP and the XRP ledger into its business operations. For example, Spend the Bits uses the XRP ledger to allow people to spend their Bitcoin in 3 to 5 seconds for a fraction of a penny. Another example, TapJets, Uber of the air, accepted XRP for payment. These businesses were hurt by the SEC's grossly overbroad allegations. The SEC's complaint was so overbroad, it reached into foreign countries, attempting to usurp their sovereignty as a nation if they decided to treat XRP as anything but a security. Japan, the UAE, Singapore, Switzerland, and the UK all declared XRP a non-security token. The SEC's complaint was so outrageous, it had a paragraph for that. 10 days after the filing of the complaint, I filed a writ of mandamus against the SEC, which would ultimately lead to a motion to intervene in the Ripple case. The rest is now part of crypto history. Yeah, damn sure. That's a great post. And I tell you this, there are going to be movies about this. I don't know how long it's going to take, but eventually it's going to be an excellent, hopefully excellent, I hope it's well done, movie covering this, because this entire topic, it's too rich and too interesting to endlessly be looked over. So at some point, even if some time needs to pass, I predict that's going to happen, and there's going to be some actor playing Attorney John Deaton, and you're going to see it on the big screen. I would not be surprised to see that at all. And here's a screen grab that he shared. Reads as follows. This is when he was referencing in the second to last paragraph. He says, even if some country were to recognize XRP as fiat currency at some point in the future, that would result from the defendant's significant entrepreneurial and managerial efforts to date, and likely in the future, on which public investors expecting profit relied when making an investment of money into the defendant's common enterprise. Yeah, I remember that one, and that's just absurd and just completely stupid. So that would mean that XRP, past, present, and all future sales, no matter what happens with Ripple, they would all be a part of this illegal securities offering, even if Ripple ceased to exist, because it would have been because of it. It's all just illegal. You see how absurd this is? It's the dumbest stuff. And one of the things that really burns my biscuits the most, and this is a factual thing, and I want to remind you of this, the SEC was running XRP, at least one XRP ledger validator or node. Maybe it was just a node. But they were running that. And fine, technically, if you want to split hairs, technically they hired a company to do that, but that's the SEC hiring a company with taxpayer funds to do something that they were arguing was illegal. Is that not completely absurd? Unreal. And then you find out, of course, that I think it was early 2019, Coinbase was like, hey, SEC, we don't think XRP is a security and we're going to list it. And then they just let them do it. And then XRP got listed. And then, as you know, a year later, a little over a year later, almost 2 years later, I guess, then they ended up claiming that XRP is a security. And it's just a bunch of nonsense. Obviously, this is the biggest freaking garbage lawsuit there possibly could have been. And the SEC got theirs. They got pretty much what they deserved here. And now we are better for it on the other side. What a freaking journey. I am so glad it's over. And just wait, because the appeal, which doesn't matter to XRP holders, but that's going to go bye-bye too, thanks to the election outcome. Mark my words, that's a virtual certainty. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say are right. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.